welcome to Laplink's webinar series. This is Thomas Koll, and I want to talk to you about the end of support for Windows 10 in October 2025 and how we can support you to easily migrate to Windows 11 with PCmover Enterprise. Well, we all know the situation. The end of support for Windows 10 is scheduled for October 14th, 2025. And from then on, Microsoft will no longer provide free software upgrade, especially security upgrades. And we know that today, Windows 10 is running on around 60% of all Windows devices. And that might be something like 600 to 800 million devices. Not all need to be upgraded hardware-wise, but many do not run Windows 11. There will be many organizations that will say, well, I don't have the time, we don't have the people, we don't have the project capacity, and so we will buy the extended security updates program from Microsoft and pay $61 per device for the first year, $122 for the second year, and $244 for the third year. But on the other hand, we really have to understand that at some point we have to go to Windows 11, we have to go to a new PC. And so now we are just pushing the wave in front of us, but we have to do it at some point. And there are good reasons why we want to upgrade to Windows 11. We can, listen to all what Microsoft say about efficiency, better interface, etc. But it really comes down to enhanced security. Security is still the biggest disruptor for our computer system and our infrastructure. And this is really the main reason, as well as future-proofing the new capabilities that we have on PCs. Now, some organizations have hesitated, and there are also good reasons for that, because every migration is an operational disruption, because you have to change hardware, you have to change a lot of software, you have to run a project where there are a lot of logistics, a lot of software concerns, a lot of training. And so sometimes, we hesitate and says, oh, the old PC is good enough, but at the end, it's no longer it. The new hardware is so much better. And what we have seen this year on the market with AI PCs is just tremendous, and it will benefit every organization and every user. There might be also some other external factors, especially the market dynamics. And here, I just want to mention AI. AI is talked about every day, and we know that many organizations now starting with AI projects. First, they are to understand AI, to test AI, but then also to build new solutions. And there are already hundreds and thousands of AI solutions in the marketplace that will make the use of PCs even more efficient. And we can save time and a lot of manual labor and manual work by utilizing AI solutions. On the other hand, there might be technology dynamics that we can't run away from. One, of course, is the replacement cycle. If we have 4 or 5-year-old PCs, they are not as efficient as a new PC. They are not as fast. They don't have the battery life, and they also, as hardware deteriorates. And we have talked with many customers, and many tell me that, yeah, we were always on a 4 to 5 year cycle. With COVID, that was also disrupted. Perhaps our cycle was a little bit longer, but we actually have to go more to a 3 to 4 year cycles because the PCs are thinner, lighter, more perhaps problematic when it comes to the rough handling that we do with our laptops, day in, day out, throwing them into our bags, taking them home, unpacking this and that. They don't last as long as our old PCs. And now we also see the first really good solutions in AI. We want to test them on the right hardware, and we can't do that on the old hardware. So we need to move. That's plain and simple. We have to move. When we talk with our customers, we hear a lot of common complaints when it comes to migration. First one is that Microsoft just does not provide any comprehensive tools that address migration of application, full data set and settings. Microsoft has a great set of solutions around the deployment of PCs, Autopilot, Intune, but Microsoft is not alone. There are a lot of solutions around that. But one area that doesn't get highlighted is the migration from the old PC to the new PC of application data and settings. Microsoft often talks about, oh, use OneDrive. Well, OneDrive is a selective backup tool that is very important for Microsoft because they want your data on OneDrive, but it's not a migration tool. And so let's not kid ourselves. Microsoft does not have a solution, and so they take the next best, but it does not work. And at the end of the day, we hear the customer saying, well, they don't have a solution, it does not work. Secondly, Microsoft also does not provide a solution for addressing the Active Directory to Azure Active Directory migration, or as it's today called, Microsoft Entra. And we are providing that solution as well for Microsoft. They came to us to do that. Then PC migrations today take too long, require too many IT resources, and are often incomplete. And the time that is used really depends on organizations, what they are doing, how they are doing it. And we hear extreme long project cycles. Some customer says, oh, software and automating that with your software saves us 1 to 2 hours. Others, and I just heard that the other day, which I couldn't believe, was saying, well, it takes us about a week to get a PC fully running so that the user is happy. Second area is our users are using PCs in very different ways. And so the departmental differences is killing IT departments because there are so many planned transfer scenarios, images, scripts, and with that, IT interactions. A sales department needs different solution from marketing department or development department or on the factory floor. So it is essential that we provide the tools so that you can configure the migration that you want with the needs that your departments have. Logistical issues with loaners, remote users, and foreign locations drive your cost up exponentially, not just linear, but exponentially, because it takes people to go to remote locations, deal with loaners, a lot of logistics. And when it comes to a foreign location, it also is a language problem sometimes that makes it very, very hard. And I've talked with IT department that says, oh, we are flying teams to our foreign offices, and it's so expensive, it just doesn't make any sense. User downtime exceeding 3 or more hours is very common. And at the end, if the migration was done not in a way that the user expected, we are getting increased post-migration support tickets and phone calls. And these calls are usually $50 to $80 that are really hard dollars. They are not soft dollars where perhaps something is not done and you don't have to pay for it. The phone calls is actually hard cost for the IT department, and so that's a big deal. And it's the same for IT manufacturers. They are dreading the post-sales support tickets they get when customers are calling and saying, well, how do I get my data over? Why don't you provide any solution for that? You know, the PC is naked. I have Windows on it, but I don't have anything else on it. Side effects are really clear. Unbudgeted cost and time overruns, user dissatisfaction, and prolonged project cycles due to lack of trained professionals and IT staff. Many of our professionals are utilized now for AI projects. That's the new projects. That's the new shining tool. That's the new gold. So how can we help? Well, we developed over many years our PCmover Enterprise software suite, and PCmover is really the worldwide solution for PC migration software available in 22 languages. And it's the only migration solution that is recommended and sold by Microsoft, Intel, Dell, Lenovo, HP, LG, Samsung, and many other industry leaders. We are automating the PC refresh project, which will save you 3 to 5 hours and $300 per desktop. And we provide you with comprehensive options to configure the rules and the policies for selected behavior and automation. And that means that we are driving to support your needs and your rules in your IT department, and you can run the migration as you want, not as we want. And lastly, very important in today's world, we provide a very easy migration from Active Directory to Entra ID when it comes to the application data and settings. Now, what can we move? We move application data, settings, user, very comprehensive way. And there are some things that we on purpose don't move. We don't move antivirus, anti-spy applications because they write hardware drivers into the Windows system that Windows does not see. And so antivirus programs on a new OS, so from 10 to 11, you don't want to have anyway, because on Windows 11 there are new hardware drivers, and that is much better for your system. And the antivirus colleagues will have new software available for the new OS. We also block all applications that have hardware-related drivers. The easy example might be your scanner software that might be tied to a specific scanner hardware with a specific driver. Well, if we would move that, you probably live in the blue screen mode, and that is certainly something that we don't want you to have. Also, to make it easy for you, we block OEM applications, because on your new Asus, on your new Dell, on your new HP, you don't want to have the support center from Lenovo migrated to. So we block those just for the easier use of the new PC. So let me talk a little bit about the different scenarios that we support. First of all, transfer between PCs. The direct transfer of the PCs is probably the easiest way how you can move from the old PC to the new PC. And the PCs can be connected by your network, even your wireless network, although we don't recommend that because wireless can be the slowest network, and the quality can change from time to time. So your home network, your company network, your organization network, but we can also support you for direct connect cables, our Ethernet cables, USB cables, and also the new Thunderbolt cables. Thunderbolt cables are actually the best transport and the fastest transport, but we have to realize that the bottleneck is always created by the old PC. If the old PC doesn't have a Thunderbolt port, it will not deliver Thunderbolt speeds. If your old PC has an old clocking hard drive that is very slow, then the transfer is very slow. So we are dependent on the speed of the old hardware. But Thunderbolt has now been around some years, and so I believe that we can now see that the old PCs have Thunderbolt ports. So if you have a situation where you have an old PC that has Thunderbolt, then that's the fast solution. We also transfer from old PC to a virtual PC, or from virtual to virtual PC. We can do it remotely as well, but it's more standard application and scenario for the PC refresh. Many larger organizations will use a different scenario, and that is what we call the file-based transfer. And that's where we're transferring all your file settings, applications, by creating a big transfer file, which is stored on an external media device. That could be your network, that can be a hard drive, that can be a NAS, that can be a stick, as long as it has enough capacity on it. And so what we do in this case is we take off the application data and settings from the old PC without any Windows components, any hardware drivers, and everything that should not go. And we will put it on the external media. And when you have the new PC, we can bring everything back on top of the new PC. By doing that, we are not overriding anything on the new PC. You even have the ability to roll back if you're not satisfied, but we don't override anything on the new PC, but it will look and feel like your old PC with all the data, the applications, the settings that you or the IT department wanted. We even do cloud storage in this case, where we utilize enterprise blob storage. And so you can bring perhaps even from a home PC or the application data and settings to a blob storage, prepare your new PC, and then bring it back. And this scenario also offers the OS refresh scenario. And that is when the hardware is still good, it will run Windows 11. You don't need new hardware, but you need to have Windows 11 installed. Now, many organizations, and that's high majority of that, they do not want just a vanilla upgrade from Microsoft without having, a say-so in what is being updated and how it's updated, etc. So usually what bigger organizations are doing is they take the PC, they move the application data and settings over to external media. They apply an image, a company image, onto the new PC with Windows 11, and then they bring back the application data and settings to that PC. Very easy way, very automated, very efficient to do the OS refresh. You don't have to do anything manually. Third scenario is what we call the image and drive assistant, and that is very unique, mostly break fix, perhaps for the hard drive scenario. And that is if you have a PC that perhaps doesn't boot, monitor is broken, and you can't really use the PC, you can extract the hard drive, and that is not a personal user or private user because sometimes you need special tools, but an IT staffer can take the hard drive and attach it to the new one. And as long as we can read the hard drive on the new PC, which should be very easy with a USB connection, then we can take all the application data and settings from the old hard drive and bring it into the new PC without having the old PC work at all. Now, naturally, the hard drive has to work, otherwise the scenario does not work. In parallel, the same with an image. If you have an image of the old PC, the PC breaks, you can just mount the image to the new PC, onto the new PC's hard drive, and we can take out the application data and settings from that image and bring it into the new PC on top of what there already is installed. Now, your image vendors that you use to create images can't do that. And there's always the question of, oh, why can't I just, clone my old PC? Well, if you clone your old PC, then you overwrite your new PC, and you suddenly have a new PC that is running Windows 10 with all your old applications and your old stuff. So you don't want to do that. And so using the image or drive assistant is a very easy way to do that. Some of our retail partners do that very effectively. They will extract the hard drive when you bring in your old PC to the store. They will extract the hard drive, click it to their network, connect it to their network, and a remote data center will actually do the migration to the new PC and not the person in the store who's dealing with customers on the front desk. So very efficient way, very fast way, but it's not a way for perhaps a personal user taking the hard drive out of a laptop. Lastly, and I already mentioned that, is the profile migrator, and that is Active Directory to Azure Active Directory. We can make your move to Entra work on the same PC when you log into your new directory, or from old PC to new PC. That is not a problem. So you have a whole range of scenarios here to migrate that, and according to your needs, to your rules. Over the years, we have learned a lot from our Fortune 1000 government and healthcare education customers. And we can see that every customer is a little different. Yes, there are many who perhaps use our software in a vanilla way, but many have their own needs and the way they want to do it. And they also have a different history. I have heard that we saved them an hour and a half, or, and you won't believe that, but that is the truth, 1 week to get a new PC running. Imagine the loss of manpower, the loss of time, for these migrations if you do it manually. And, you still might have for many weeks unhappy customers because the data is not there as you imagine it would. So we are listening always very carefully. We work with every customer to their needs and help them in their environment, not how we want it, but how our customers and you guys want to do that. And we also help the service providers who service these customers, because sometimes they don't have the time to do it all manually. And certainly in today's world, where we are looking at October 14th as a deadline, where we don't have the headcount to do it. The service providers will be as taxed with headcount than your own organizations. So in PCmover Enterprise, we have a couple special modules. For one is the Policy Manager module that creates policy that can streamline the migration procedure by removing a lot of decisions. The IT department can make decisions and configurations that can be executed at the user's desktop without interference or any further configurations. And these can be very easy configurations like a whitelist or a blacklist or data filtering, but it's easy to modify the PCmover rule set that we have created to override default configurations that we put in to adapt to the needs that you have. And we have seen a lot of configurations that are very different from client to client. At the end, the automation will just work, and you can drive towards a zero-touch automation that the user can do, and it just gets kicked off by the user, but everything else is configured. And so it takes a little bit more time to plan, test, retest, then have the right set of rules, and then roll out. After the rollout, we usually don't see any support issues, except with upgrades from Microsoft. There is always that we have to retest sometimes, not you, but us, and see that we can help you with perhaps different configurations. We also have a transfer manager that helps you to remotely execute multi-migrations from one locations. So your IT chap can sit in his office and do migrations in the field. You get also, a lot of reports that shows you what has been moved, what has been put onto the new machine, and you can run your analysis of these reports so that you know what's going on in your environment. So we would just love to work with you and reach out to us, because we will, in the pre-purchase process, help you with evaluation copies. Those are full copies of the software that you can use, live demos and tech talks. I know that a lot of the technical people love to talk to technical people, not to salespeople. So this is just, the ability to have a very open and frank conversation of what can be done. We will support you in your testing and even in product training. For purchasing, we have very flexible license programs with annual site licenses, volume licenses, and technician licensing, all geared to drive down the per migration cost. We also have single and multi-year purchasing programs. So again, we make it easy for you that you don't have to count licenses, that it's as easy as possible in your environment. And at the end of the day, the price must suit you. And I would say, and I get asked all the time, yeah, so how much is it? Well, I think that if we can save you 10 minutes of IT time, you already paid for the license. And we don't save you 10 minutes, we save you hours of time. So it is a very, very effective price, and we never had really price issues. Of course, your procurement will always negotiate, but it is not a pricing issue. It really helps you drive margin out of your business, drive time out of your business, and shorten your project cycles for migration. Once you start deploying the software, we will help you with onboarding and training, product support from our senior engineers. If we see some weird behavior, which could be in your network, could be on the Windows side, or could be in our product, we even have easy access to our development team at any time. And lastly, we also provide, the usual maintenance so that you have the right to get updated and new features. And that is also very important because, again, the constant updating from Microsoft with Windows can also sometimes disrupt the business. But we are keeping a very keen eye on what is being released, tested, and if there's an issue, we will inform you immediately. So please contact us. Send us an email at corpsales@laplink.com. We would love to work with you, do a trial, do a pilot, and see how it works in your environment. And you will see that we can save you a lot of time and money during the migration projects that is just looming, October 14th, 2025. And even beyond, I think the whole big refresh cycle will spill into 2026. But at any time, come to us and we will help you master this project that is really very important for making your organization more effective and equip you with new hardware that is needed. Thank you very much for listening to me. And of course, thank you for your consideration to contact us. Goodbye.